Top Media is back. Yes, we're back after a long break and we'll be bringing you the best top 5, 10, 15s and more on YouTube. For a second I thought you forgot about us. Well, you're not getting rid of me that easily. Anyways, thanks for all the subscribers who've decided to stick around and enjoy. Oh, and don't forget to support us on Patreon if you like, which we finally got around to launching. A link is in the description. Check it out, it would be very much appreciated. Norman Mailer's second novel, Barbary Shore, didn't originally feature a Russian character. As his writing progressed, he introduced a Russian spy working in the US, and as the writing developed further, the characters gradually became one of the primary characters in the novel. After Mailer completed his work, US Immigration Services arrested a man who lived above his apartment. That man was Colonel Rudolph Abel, a high-ranking spy working in America at the time. In 1975, a man riding a moped in Bermuda was killed in an accident involving a taxi. A year later, the deceased's brother was killed in exactly the same way, riding the same moped. Guys, get a new moped. What's more bizarre is that the taxi driver, his cab, and even his passenger before were also the same. Sounds a little bit suspicious to me, if I'm being honest. In the 1900s, at a small restaurant in Monza, in Italy, King Umberto I encountered a cook that he had a series of incredible resemblances to. Have you ever met a cook who looks just like you? Come on, we all have. But no, this was silly. In addition to being incredibly similar both facially and physically, they shared the same birthday, birthplace, and both married women named Margarita. Also, the cook opened his restaurant the same day that the king was crowned. On the 29th of July, the restaurant owner was killed in an accident. Minutes after being informed, the king was assassinated. Kind of feels like maybe that wasn't a coincidence, maybe they were twins, and that they wanted them both to be killed. But who knows? Mark Twain, known for his work in American literature, was born on November 30th, 1835, the same day that Halley's Comet appeared. A year before his death, Mark Twain predicted that he would go out in the same way that he came into the world. Now, whether you call it sheer coincidence or superstition, Mark Twain died the day that Halley's Comet next appeared. Ooh, coincidental spooky superstition. Two twins, Arthur and John Malford, suffered severe chest pains on the evening of May 22nd in 1975. Both men were rushed to different hospitals at almost exactly the same time. Neither knew of the other's illness, and both men died of cardiac arrest shortly after arrival. That's some X-Files stuff, for sure. James Dean died in a horrific car crash in 1955, but his car left a rather unusual legacy that carried on for long after the actor's death. After the Porsche was towed away, the engine fell out of its shell, shattering a mechanic's leg. The engine was later bought and equipped to a racing car, and shortly after, the driver died on the track. The car was later repaired and restored, but the garage it was in mysteriously set on fire. And finally, the car was displayed in a museum to fixed steel supports, but this somehow wasn't enough to stop the cursed car from shattering into several pieces. Oh, spooky James Dean's car. I'm not going anywhere near it. Robert Fallon was shot dead in 1858 after being accused of cheating at a poker game. I think a lot of people in this period of history were probably shot because of being accused at cheating at poker games. That's why I don't play poker or cheat or travel back in time to the 1800s. Anyway, no other player wanted to take the chips as it was deemed to be unlucky, so they found a new player and staked him with a spare $600. Local law enforcement arrived to find that the new player had already won $2,200 from his initial buy-in. They requested the original $600 back for Fallon's next of kin, only to discover the new player was Fallon's son, who hadn't seen his father in 7 years. What are the chances of that, eh? Bit of good luck, but unfortunately, your father is dead. In 1930s Detroit, a careless mother's baby fell from a window onto Joseph Figlock, which is a great name, but both man and baby were completely unharmed. Obviously, that's not too bad. A baby falling on a man, that's not that bad. But the next year, the baby fell again from the same window onto the same guy, again without a scratch on either. I can't help but wonder if the mother's
The mother of the baby just liked the look of this man, and maybe was just throwing the baby at the man in the hope that he'd keep it and come upstairs. I mean, that's what I'd do if I was a single lady in 1930s Detroit, which is unlikely to happen. Joseph Aigner was a prominent portrait artist in 19th century Austria, and he was also a somewhat miserable man. He tried to hang himself at the age of 18, but was interrupted by a monk. At the age of 22, the same monk intervened again. 8 years later, people were rallying for Aigner's death because of his political actions, but once again, he was saved by the same man. In his later years, Aigner finally took his own life with a pistol, and the monk who had watched over him for his entire life conducted the funeral procession. Henry Ziegland left his girlfriend in 1888. She couldn't cope with a life without her lover and committed suicide. In revenge, the scorned woman's brother pursued Ziegland and shot him before killing himself. However, the bullet was lodged in a tree and had only grazed Ziegland's face. Years later, he tried to cut down that very tree, but failed. And after attempting to blow up the tree with dynamite, the bullet finally found its target and struck Ziegland in the head, promptly killing him. I think the moral of this story is, get a monk to follow you around for all of your life and you'll probably survive longer, and don't use dynamite to blow up trees. We've all learnt something.
That's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching another Top Media video. Don't forget to hit that very important bell icon, the subscribe button, and to support us on Patreon. As they say, pennies make pounds, and your support would go a very long way for our channel.